Been there, done that, know what's next. Life's a journey, never complex. A lifelong student, educators call, guiding future, standing tall. Conscious parenting, full hat on tight. Drove through decades, walked away for rights. From the motion pictures to the cosmic light. Contactee's journey, universal sight. Attempting to put the human back in humanity. Mic check, 1, 2, hear the clarity. Fascinated by the human experience. Sharing stories, breaking the silence. Human experience, hang out, come along. Kids, health, synaptic circle, singing our song. Random vlogs, life stories to tell. Each journey a beacon, wishing well. We all have incredible tales to share. Healing, activation, spreading care. Light the way, find the others. What's your mission, sisters and brothers? Attempting to put the human back in humanity. Mic check, 1, 2, hear the clarity. Fascinated by the human experience. Sharing stories, breaking the silence. Rise, humanity, unity we seek. Community sharing, synaptic circle unique. Be the solution with someone today. Assist in the rise, light the way. May the song lift whoever comes across, and may you do the same, no matter the cost. Spread the light, ignite the flame. In unity we rise, forever reclaim. Attempting to put the human back in humanity. Mic check, 1, 2, hear the clarity. Fascinated by the human experience. Sharing stories, breaking the silence.
Oh, cheers. Hi, happy Wednesday. Hello, and thank you so very much for tuning in. This is episode 46 of the High Vibe Human Experience Hangout. I'm your host, Heidi Pop, and I love to have conversations with folks that are being the solution out there. They're taking their innate skills and they're putting them to service to others. So they're compassionate and they're walking the walk and talking the talk. So I'm super excited. Hello to my dear friend from Chicago, Mr. Henry. How are you, Henry?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. And third time's the charm. So you might recognize him because he's actually the very first High Vibe Human Experience Hangout. We did that way back in, was it March 2021? So thank you, Rick, for jumping on this. Oh, thanks, Henry, for jumping on this adventure with me.
I told you what happened.
I know. He's got two identities going there. And then our second episode we did was in 2023, April. And that was about our 13th episode. And why I'm super excited today is you then versus now. It's almost night and day, but it just shows why I think your project is going to be so successful, because you were in I called it Jedi Master mode. You really were, you had zero sleep. Your eat cycle was off. Physically, you were not doing your regular routines, everything. And it was all for the sacrifice of what's best for your child. You wanted to be there for your daughter. So you now have launched the Single Dad Project, and I can't wait to talk all about it. So I'm done babbling. Thanks to the chat for babbling. Nice to see you guys there. Hi, Garrel, Amber's Paraworld, Eric Hollywood. Nice to see you again. Tanya, nice to see you, hun. Area 50, Juan, who's driving right now, so be careful, sir. And thanks, guys. And Jane, nice to see you. Chime in at any point. So all that aside, how the heck are you? How's the project?
I'm doing good. The project's good. I was going to say the lack of sleep and all that stuff, that's still happening. That's still part of everything.
Oh my gosh.
We're still doing that.
Wow. Well, what are you doing different? Because you're lit up. You have color to your cheeks, so you're working out more probably. But you seem better than I caught you before. No, you're just used to it, huh?
All the energies. It's all the energies.
Wow.
So from the last time we talked, I was still doing no sleep, working crazy hours. That all of that stuff is still going on. The only thing that changed is my daughter graduated in June, so she's all done with high school.
Wow.
And in April of June of this year, obviously, April of this year, I started the podcast, started the show. And so I was just like, okay, things are going to change. Like, as a parent, you're like, my kid's graduating high school, going off to college or whatever they decide to do. So for me, that was kind of like the last hurdle. And I'm like, all right, once this piece is done, I get to take care of myself again. And working on it, but haven't gotten there completely. So that's where everything's at.
Okay. Well, geez, you're managing the lack of sleep and everything very well, it looks like. And you took on this big
Only for your
project.
show.
Oh, this is your nap time, isn't it? Oh.
You should know. Well, yes, but you should see me at work when I'm like, so I'm keeping it mellow right now.
Yeah, so if anybody's listening, we're both Scorpios, so sometimes that Scorpio will show itself.
Yeah.
Well, so I thought the conversation today was going to flow regarding I'm really into my fellow podcast friends who are community builders, and you have really a specific thing, which is the single parent. You did talk to single moms for the month of May for Mother's
Mhm.
Day. I was honored to be on your show. Thank you for that. And then you're talking to single dads, but you also have tons of clips that you throw out there. And you're live journaling, really, your experience. I want to thank you for putting yourself out there so raw and authentically, because single parenting is no joke. And what I want people to know most about you is you have, from the beginning, have always put your daughter's needs first. And it shows. I heard she's going to go, she's headed to a 4-year college. Like she's adjusted, she's well, she's physically fit, she's got it together. And I think that
Yeah.
has a huge part to play of just you showing up. So thank you from the world, because we need more children who have parents who care.
The thing is, I don't think that parents don't care. It's just the world, society, however things are. It's like you get all these obstacles that are put in front of you, and it's hard to like be there for your kids as much as, and like I think if parents really decided, they would put their kids first all the time. But then it's like, how do I pay the bills? Who's going to pay for putting gas
You're
in the
right.
car? And all these things come up. So
You're
um,
right. Yeah.
it's a like I've had conversations with my daughter about this because I tell her, I'm like, uh, I start off by saying your dad's not a dummy, but just because I'm not doing certain things or I don't have certain things doesn't mean I'm stupid. I'm doing these things because I want to be there for you. That's how I always preface it.
Mhm.
Because I'm sure it's pretty easy for, I mean, being a single dad. I've been on dates with women that are like, "Why are you working this job? Why are you doing this schedule? Why are you doing?" I'm like, "Cause for my kid." And the ones that don't understand, I'm like, "See ya. I don't. We
Don't
don't
have
need to
time for
talk."
them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't hold anything against any women that want something different. That's what the dating game is all about. But um, one of the things that I learned over the years is like standing on my ground when it comes to relationships. And one of the things I stand on is I want to be there for my kid. If you want to be in a relationship with me, you got to understand that, number one. So that's kind of what I've
Mhm.
put my foot down lately. So
Oh,
yeah.
and what does that look like for you when you are there? I mean, I don't know if some folks have seen our last episode, but I know for a while it was just picking her up and dropping her off, right?
hmm
Like what did it look like being there for her?
So before 2020, I had her every other weekend, and I was kind of working off of that schedule. Every once in a while, I'd pick her up from school when I could, obviously because of work stuff. I usually try to get off that time of work to go pick her up from school, and it was like my lunchtime or whatever, and then head back to work. But
Mhm.
it was every other weekend. Then 2020 hit, and everything got weird, and she wasn't every other weekend anymore. Plus, she was in eighth grade during 2020, so 21, she was entering high school. And her and I had a little discussion about it, and she's like, Dad, I really don't want to like sleep over anymore. And I I get it. It's like a lot of transition was happening during that time. And also with high school, she was getting into competitive cheerleading and things like that. So I was like, all right, I gotta readjust. And the 9 to 5 went out the door, and I started working overnights so that I could have my days to be there with her. And so because I wasn't having my weekends with her anymore, I was still seeing her on the weekends because she had competitions, but she wasn't staying over. So for me, I didn't want to lose that time and connection with her. So changed my work schedule, started working overnights, and during the day I would pick her up from school, take her to practice. So there's a little bit of time gap between end of school and practice. So I'd pick her up from school, take her home, wait in the car out in the street. She'd come out, take her to practice, wait for her until she was done with practice, take her home, go to work. And
Mhm.
that schedule ran for the last 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's
So
a bit
that's
of a
why,
sacrifice there.
yes,
Yeah.
that's why no sleep, no nothing, no money,
Ye-
no, like all that stuff just
Yeah.
kind of went out the window. So
Ah. And does she see that? Like, does she, or you think later in life she'll go, wow, my dad really
I
put himself
think
out there for me?
her and I don't have deep conversations like that. We're getting there slowly but surely. Because the other thing too that happened with 2020, and you know this because we're friends, but I got really angry about the whole situation, everything that was going on, especially because I couldn't see my kid. That year when all that nonsense started, I did roofing sales with a friend of mine. So we were up in Wisconsin. I was still paying rent in Chicago, coming home one weekend out of the month to pay rent and see my daughter. And
Wow.
that was my schedule. Um, so not having that connection and all the weirdness that was going on that year, I felt like me and my daughter were like this now. Like we
Mm.
can't, we,
Yeah.
we didn't fall apart, but like there was definitely something there that was in between us.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the reason I was angry about a lot of stuff that year. But over the last few years, just I think just being there for her, being at her competitions, whatever games she was cheerleading at, whatever gymnastics things she was doing, um, I think just showing up kept that relationship close.
Mm.
And a couple of months ago, I had a talk with her because she was graduating high school, and I told her, I said, look, you're 18 now, going off to college. Technically, you're not a kid anymore. So I'm not going to treat you like a kid anymore. To treat you like an adult, and we're going to have adult conversations. I'm not going to skirt around the edges of shit anymore. And so I told her, I said, that's just because I want you to understand what it's like to get into that grown up role. And I joke around because I think all of us experience this, but like my mom sometimes still treats me like I'm a 12-year-old. And I'm like, Mom, stop. Like, I'll come over and visit, and she'll be like, oh, here's some food. Eat some more. Eat some
Oh,
more. I'm like,
sure.
Mom, I don't want to eat no more, Mom. So, like, we're done. So I don't want to treat my daughter that way, like she's a little kid. So
Mhm.
the for me, that connection was finding any way that I can keep it going. And now that she's a little bit older and can understand things better, as far as like the topics of conversation that I want to have with her, um, now it's like having that dialogue, that open dialogue. And since she
Very healthy.
graduated, her and I've been training for her college cheerleading career, and so
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
that's been another little piece where we're getting closer because she asked me to basically coach or train her. So
That's awesome.
that's been cool.
And that was one of the hats you wore. You were a trainer for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You still do the training. Well, I want to say really quick. Hi, Terry. He's calling from Australia. So we got Australia in the house.
Wow.
Good to
Australia.
see you, hun. He's such a he's sweet cheek. He says hi, sweet cheeks. I hope it's okay if I share this. I didn't ask you first, but I wanted to share that our very first you helped me launch this High Vibe Human Experience Hangout because when we were connecting, you said you wanted me to interview you because you wanted to do like a time capsule for your daughter. You had things you wanted to tell her that it wasn't appropriate to tell her at that time, but you wanted this thing put in the interwebs that she will reflect at as an adult. Are you still happy you did that? I'm grateful you asked me to do, and it really launched something for me too. But
Yeah.
how do you feel about that mission? You were determined. Has she seen any of this yet? Of
She
what you're
hasn't
doing?
seen any of it yet. That's actually another thing that I'm gonna bring up as a topic of conversation because I'm sure she knows, dad's on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But I'm not connected with her on the socials at all.
Gotcha.
Never have been, never really cared to or anything like that. I just figured when she gets older and she wants to see, what her dad was like over the years, like she can find my social media stuff. But ever since doing the podcast, and especially the first one that we did, was more because of the first one that we did. It's having that mindset of it being a time capsule for my kid, and just being like we grew up Gen X, so it's like you got old pictures that you can go back and look at, maybe old VHS tapes if you can get them to play or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like, it's all, I'm sure it's the same way for you. It's all like the cameras came out when there were birthday parties or an anniversary or something like that. Whereas now we're basically sharing our life, every little minute or second.
Your
that we
diary all the time. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I had a friend years ago that when we talked about the online, he's a very smart guy. Every time we talked about the online stuff, he's like, Rick, see, I said it too. Get your stuff out there, and what it's going to do is it's going to, like, you're creating a time capsule online on the internet. And when he said that, I was like, that's kind of cool. I never looked at it that way. And so when you were talking about starting the show, I was like, this is perfect. Like, I got my friend here. She's going to ask me cool questions. I'm going to answer questions that I want to answer for my daughter. And so it's a time capsule. That's how
Knowing that she's watching. Yeah, I love that. I do ask my daughter she's my Instagram friend because she's an author now. So I say, you have to put yourself out there a little bit and I'll help monitor. But I go, can you at least like my stuff? She's not very active on there, and that's fine. Okay, so this project, very, very well put together. Like, so proud. I had tears in my eyes just because I just feel like it's an asset and it's what the communities need. But your projects of the Single Dad projects, you break things down. Can you explain how you break it down? Because this is all solution-based, peeps. Like, this is a way to find the others as well as kind of build yourself back up. So what are the projects of the Single Dad project?
So when I started, I want to tell the story of how I started the show, because sometimes people are like, how do you get started and all that stuff. I remember when we did Promise of You, I had filmmaker friends that went to film school that were like, how did you get this movie going and you never went to film school? I'm like, I just did it. I just started. And
Drive.
yeah, right. And so
Promise of You is a movie we did together in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so with the show, I called my friend PJ and I was like, man, I got this idea for an AI channel. Like, I want to run it by you, because he still does like video projects and shit like that. I apologize if I was supposed to swear on your show.
Oh, that's fine. You're fine. Charlie doesn't watch anyway.
So we were talking about this AI YouTube idea that I had, and he's like, that would be perfect, like you should totally do it, and be in front of the camera, and I got a studio and all this and this and that. And I was like, I don't want to be on camera for an AI show. Like that wasn't what I was trying to portray to him. But he still really wanted to do a show,
Uh-huh.
and PJ and I haven't done anything together since 2007. That was
Oh,
the
wow.
last time I did the film festival, and I stopped doing all that stuff when my daughter was
Circuit.
born,
Yeah.
which was 2007. So I told him, I said, let me think about it, and when I get home, I'll have an answer for you. So I drove home, and as I'm driving home, I was thinking, like, what are the things that I could talk about if I wanted to talk about something? And for me, the biggest experience I've had in life is being a single dad. And I was like, all right, that's the topic. Right away, I got the title. I started thinking of how to structure it. And so, to answer your question about the projects, um, for years, I used to want to learn about stuff. So, if I wanted to learn about business, or if I wanted to learn more about being a trainer, like working out and exercises and all this kind of stuff, I put it on my calendar as a topic for the day. So like Monday was my financial day. That's when I went through my bank account. I was like, where'd the money go? Why, I got this commission, or I got this paycheck or whatever. That all happened on Monday. And so for the show, I thought, well, this will be cool to have like different projects to talk about within the context of single dadhood, whatever. And so it really starts with the three zones, or the three spheres. The first one is you, the dad, single dad. And if anybody's listening, the first sphere is you anyways. Take whatever your life is about, and I the way I approach it is like it should start with you. Like you're the number one. The second sphere is your kid. So again, coming from the single dad project, it's the first sphere is you, the dad. Second sphere is your kids, and then the third sphere is anything else.
Hmm.
Baby mama drama, car, work, business, whatever, the world. And the reason why I start there is because I had a situation a few years back where I got into a relationship with a girl, like fell head over heels in love with her and all this kind of stuff. And it wasn't until after the relationship ended that I realized, I'm like, man, I put all this time and effort into this girl. And it's not that it took away from my daughter, but I'm like, why didn't I put more of that energy towards my kid?
Hmm.
And so the way I look at it now is I had my spheres reversed. I wasn't number
Hmm.
one. My daughter wasn't number one. The third sphere was number one, which was this female, this girl that I
Yeah.
dated. And so it screwed everything up. And like I
Hmm.
said, I lost myself in that relationship versus like having my priorities straight. So that's where the single dad project starts. It's like with you, with your kids, and then with everything else. But everything else
Gotcha.
is
There.
last.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the projects were just, like I said, things that I was interested in over the years, but they're topics that everybody is in some way, shape, or form interested in or involved in. So the first project is spirituality. Second project is relationships. Third project is your mind, intellect, whatever you feed, your smarts and intelligence and things like that. Fourth is physicality, your body. Do you work out? Do you go play? Do you do whatever? Uh, Fifth project is financial. And then the last project is business. And the way I see it, or the way I've structured it, is for me, it starts with spiritual at the top, because that's just innate in everybody, whether you believe in something or not. Like, we can argue till we turn blue in the face. There's something out there, call it what you want, but it starts there. Because like you asked earlier, you're like, are you working out now? Like, you have a glow and all this and this and that. I'm like, nope, still not working out, still working overnight shift. And if you see a glow, it's because I'm focusing my energy back to me, like taking care of myself. So it starts with the spiritual, then it goes into the relational, because outside of you, you have to deal with everybody else out there. And you have to deal with you first anyways. Your first relationship is with you. The relationship that you have 24/7, 365 is always with you. So that comes after the spiritual. The third is the intellectual, because we sit in here again 24/7, 365. So what am I telling myself? What am I hearing? What am I listening to? All the kind of stuff. Fourth is physical. So this is where this vehicle that you're riding in. Fifth is financial. I put money at the end because the people that I've talked to that have money, lots of money, always put money as the last objective, which I find really interesting. I'm like, you have all this money,
Wow.
but you don't chase it. Like, it keeps coming to you, but you're like, yeah, it's just a thing out there. So I was like, all right, I'll follow the smart people. So money's kind of at the end. And then the last one is business, because I feel like if you do all these and you transfer that into something that can build a legacy for you, or that I talked about it in one of the shows. To me, business is like your garden. You cultivate it, it grows, and eventually it's going to feed you if you do the business right. Like again, talk to the smartest business people out there that are making money, have great relationships with their family, don't have a care in the world. They give back to charity, all that kind of stuff. All that is coming from their business, and they can funnel it out. So to me, it's like a wheel. So you start at spiritual, go down to business, and then the business will give you money, will give you the financial. When you have the money, you can take care of your body, work out, eat right. When you're working out and eating right and feeling good, you want to like get all the smarts. So now you're smarter, the intellectual, and hopefully because you're smarter, you're also cultivating good relationships with people. And then you're back at the top at spiritual, and everything is just like, wow. So
overflowing, giving to others.
Yeah, that's the
Wow.
single project, and trying to put it in a nutshell.
I love that nutshell. And that is, I get the formula. And who's that one guy that had the money? It was a game and a book, Ken something, wasn't it? Do what you love, the money will come. And I mean, I feel like some of those people you're talking to that have that money that's flowing for them, they might be happy because they're doing what they love. Maybe the money is coming easily because they're happily invested in a business that they're passionate about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this brand could turn into your business. Is this your business, or is this more of what would this? Well, the project is all of them, actually.
The project is all of them. Yeah, Single Dad Project is all of them. And the thing for me, like you brought up community. I'm still learning, so there's not like an army of single dads behind me that are like, let's go. That's not the case right now. Maybe in the future, but it's not the case right now. So
Gotcha.
But I did start the project with community in mind. Like, you can ask PJ the first conversation. I'm like, this is the topic I want to do. If I'm going to be in front of camera, I want to talk about this because I know single dads out there that are struggling. And I know single dads out there that are way successful. So we struggle in certain topics, pick any one of them, spiritual, relational, intellectual, whatever. And then there's guys out there that are crushing it in those topics. So
Mm-hmm.
I started the podcast with community in mind and
Awesome.
helping
Awesome.
single dads. So
Yes. And that's the way to build it. I know what I've seen and with your interviews with everyone, you go through each of those projects with them. And
mhm,
it's so fascinating because everyone has a different journey and story. But when you have that common theme or goal of doing what's right for the for your child, um, you see the end result, which is
mhm.
connection to your child. I think the last one. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. Someone you knew before. He's a bowler, the bowling
Oh,
guy.
my friend John.
Yeah, I loved it because you both were really talking about your communication with your kid,
Hmm.
finding that common ground, not just activities to do, but now that you're there of age of how to communicate with them and make sure that you don't have to agree to things, but you have to be that open source of communication for your child, a safe place to communicate with. And you both have daughters and you excelled at that. So that was just really, it's beautiful to hear.
And
But
the
was that,
interesting,
uh-huh.
I was just gonna say the interesting thing with John, because he has a daughter, I have a daughter. I see his relationship with his daughter, and it's different than mine. For example, me and my kid, I'm training her, we're working out together, like that kind of thing. John never really did that with his little girl, but he always like had good communication. And I know because he would tell me the stories like, I told my daughter today, da, da. And I'm like, man, I don't talk to my kid like that. Like, I wish I had that. And so for me,
Learn from each other. Yeah.
yeah, for me, it was one of those
Mhm.
things where like, I love his relationship with his kid. I want to
Yeah.
have that. How do I do that? And
Yeah.
so that's what I wanted to bring into the show as well. Is like, all right, so you're a dad and you're single and you got kids. Like, what's the missing piece? And if there is a missing piece, how can you learn that from the people that I bring onto the show?
Mhm,
So I
mhm.
think that's powerful.
Yes, it's super powerful. And something else important you say, but first, hi, Roger Blair. I see you out there. And Aaron
Up, Roger.
Moriarty, Mr. Truth Quest in the house. You both brought up being Gen X, and we talked about that too before, but
Hmm.
having them young, but it wasn't about putting them in front of the screen right away. We didn't have the smartphones when you were saying when your children they're in their double digits, and they're older
Right.
now in college age, but you didn't have that. So I do find that is the fallback for parents. And as an educator, I'm watching the downfall of that. What's happening to a
Mhm.
generation who is losing the connection to their caregivers, and it's sad and it's
Yeah.
frightening of what's possible. But you guys, it doesn't have to just be Gen X. I think it's your will to be a good parent and connect. Like, people might do that out of fear, give them the screen, you think? Why do you think dads resort to that? And have you come across any? Hi, Joe Fox, I see you.
I always go back to what are the obstacles in front of parents that, make it difficult or challenging for us to be the parents that we want to be.
Mm,
Um,
good way to word it.
so
Yeah.
So if for me, like, I'm talking here with you, I can be a chatty catty with friends, but in general, I'm quiet. I grew up shy. I don't like to talk. I don't
Mm,
have a big group of friends. When I go out, I'm the wallflower, that kind of thing. So for me, it's like, how do I have these communications with my kid? And for a long time, when she was younger, when I had my weekends with her, part of the what I would do to keep her entertained was I'd bring her over to grandma and grandpa's house. And there, if she was, playing games or watching cartoons or whatever, it was cool because at least she's with grandma and grandpa, her dad.
family.
Um, but I never, like I said, I think that's what was different from me and my friend John. John, like, is a talker. He's also a Scorpio.
Yeah.
um, and he had that kind of a relationship with his daughter where he communicated, where I kept quiet. But I'm starting to communicate more now that she's getting older, because the things that I wanted to talk with her was always like these adult conversations, which I didn't know how to relay to her as a little kid.
Mhm.
Um, and I see, it's funny because sometimes I see online like other parents that talk to their kids about like the adult stuff, and the kids get it. So I think for me, I was just like, maybe I underestimated how she would take in these conversations. So
Mm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it just depends on who you are as a parent and what you want to bring to the table for your kid. But again, it's
Mhm.
like that's why I started with the sphere thing, because it starts with you. Like
I like.
I know myself well enough that I don't talk to a lot of people. So that
Mhm.
includes my kid, my daughter. And I'm actively working on getting better at that, like communicating with her more. And I'm doing that now. So
Ah, I love
yeah.
that. That's beautiful. I know we both have a big background in spirituality. I think it's
Mhm.
been a driving force for both of us. I mean, starting with Jedi's and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
like you said in the very beginning, there's just something else there. Do you feel this project that you're doing is divinely guided? Like that everything is lined up for a reason to launch this, and like bringing more in the spirituality, where are you at with that now? Like, is that are you into any of the special books? Are you using that to drive you forward to make this
So
bloom?
so it's a interesting question, because the thought behind the podcast, the show, was to talk about these 6 topics, and how single dads relate to them and their kids and everything else. When we were going into, like I said, we started the show in April. When we were going into May, right away I was like, I gotta interview single moms. Like I want the single mom perspective in the show. Going into June, I want to interview single dads. I don't just want to be the talking head. I want to have a conversation with single dads. And so going into July, I was like, all right, what can I do? What's the idea? And I do think it's divinely inspired on some level, because I don't think about, like, I don't watch enough podcasts and like study how to do shit and on this level, where I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Like these things just kind of come to me. And so for
Mhm.
July, what I started doing, I think you've seen some of the TikToks, is the month of July is my spiritual month. Like all of July has been the spiritual month. August will be the relational month. September will be intellectual. October will be physical, and so on until we hit December and do business. So what I've been doing, PJ and I shot a couple of episodes. Haven't gotten them online yet because the schedules are really like lack of sleep and everything. But they're recorded. They're on the hard drive.
They're in the
Uh,
can.
they're in the can. But the shows were about, how do I do the spiritual project, basically. Like what are my techniques? What am I doing? And on the TikToks, the difference between the show on YouTube and the TikToks was like, I'm not in the studio, so I'm like, here's what's going on. And the interesting thing with the spiritual project is, it always happens once I start saying to myself, all right, I'm gonna discover what God is and like read the books and get all that stuff. As soon as that happens, like all the bleh starts coming at me.
Uh, Always. Yeah, I get
And
it. Yep.
and so the last 3 or 4 days, it's been like this, like I've been fighting it. I've been like, my little mantra for the last 3 or 4 days is like, I keep saying to myself, God provides, God provides, God provides, because right now I'm feeling like God doesn't provide. Well, I was feeling that way 3 or 4 days ago. but just the fight, like the spiritual battle is like, what the fuck? I'm trying to be positive, but all the negative stuff is coming at me. And because of it, I'm feeling like the negativity pop up. So I've been experiencing that the last 3 or 4 days, and I have not posted one damn TikTok because I don't want to put that on video. I don't want
I
to
hear,
put the
yeah.
I'm feeling shitty on like I don't want to put that on video. So I'm like, okay, let me get through this shit. And today, a little bit of last night, today, um, I felt a shift. And I'm like,
Cool.
okay, I got through that
Passing.
bullshit. Like I'm
Mhm.
getting through the good stuff. I'm gonna have this interview with Heidi. It's gonna be cool. So we're gonna have fun. So like I started feeling the shift. And so
Awesome.
the spiritual stuff right now is I'm trying to make myself hyper aware of what are the things that I feel, what are the things that I believe in, where do I want to take my life now that everything has changed with my daughter graduating high school and going off to college.
Mhm.
What are those? What do I want my life to look like in a year? And so, like it's, again, the way the projects are set up for me and the show is I start with spiritual. So this whole month I've been battling that.
It's a battle and it's ongoing. Like it's, get through this hump. It doesn't mean there's not going to be another one at some point. So it's how
Yeah,
you handle yourself. But I
yeah,
love that you recognize you're like, you know what? I just got to go through this right now. And you kind of power down the cameras and you go through it.
yeah.
So another good thing to model that behavior. What he's referencing too, by the way. Hi, Woo. I see you there, Derek. Good to see you. Let me just put on your handle here, the Single Dad Project. This is the handle across the board, right? This is your YouTube / at Single Dad Project, and then the TikTok, of course, and Instagram. But you're this month of July, the spiritual part, if you're not doing in the interview in the studio, you're vlogging. Like it's like a vlog, a Dear Diary vlog, kind of
Hmm.
like where your camera is now, just like you in the moment sharing your thought. And that raw authenticity, I think, brings your message home. It really
Hmm.
delivers it home. So I think you're still killing the spirituality month. You're still doing great with that.
I'm working
What was
on
the
it. And
next one? What did you say was next? Spirituality? Oh, relationship for
so yeah,
August.
relational. So next month will be relational, and it's just like, so what I'm doing is, so for example, for this month, I told myself the one thing that I like doing, again, one of the things I talk about in the show is like I give out little suggestions, right? This is what you can do as a single dad to whatever, make money. This is what you can do as a single dad to have a better relationship with your kid, things like that. But they're all
Mm,
suggestions. And one of the things that I talk about is like Bruce Lee's philosophy, where I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, um, take what works for you and dump the rest. So I think it goes absorb what is useful, something, something, and then forget the rest.
mhm.
Oh, make it your own, and then dump the rest. So basically, what I feel works for me is I journal on pen and paper. I have a little journal book, and so for the month of July for the spiritual project, I told myself, all right, journal once a week, like one day out of the week. And because I had my spiritual battle this weekend, I still haven't even journaled for this week yet, going into today. So those are the things that I'm doing. It's like, okay, I'm going to journal. I've been trying to get into the Bible. It's very hard because a lot of it goes choo choo over my head.
Mm,
So I've also been watching YouTube channels on this, like spirituality, God. I mean, even like different religions. It doesn't have to be my
yeah,
religion. I'm totally open to whatever.
yeah.
But so for this month, for this project, it's just taking in the spiritual stuff. So for relationships, it's going to be a different. It'll be a different set of checklists or whatever that I go through,
Hmm.
and I'll share them. I'll share them on the show.
Yay.
But that's
Okay.
basically how I'm going about it.
Ah, that's awesome. Well, as a fellow film buddy, how does it feel just to be kind of back in the saddle again? Like creating content, you got the, putting pieces together and having this creative outlet. you're in charge of this
I
project.
Yeah, I
And PJ.
love it. I love it, love it, love
Cool.
it.
Yay.
Um, as creatives, we love to just create shit. And the only thing that sucks about having this little surge of creativity and I want to do this is the schedule that I'm on with work currently. So like I said, I'm still working overnights and sometimes like I'll get the file from PJ. I do the edits on the show. I don't edit out um like what we talk about, but it's just
Mhm.
like I'll move like the little screen from two shot to like one shot
Yeah,
and
yeah.
back to
You
two,
get to
like
play.
so
Yeah.
so that's the little editing stuff that I do, and I enjoy it. I don't not complaining about it, but it's just like not having sleep, working overnights, and your body's like on this weird circadian rhythm adjustment thing. So trying to be creative. I mean, the creative part is there.
Mhm.
Keeping up with it is tough. That's why like we shot two shows that haven't gone out to the
Sure,
internet yet.
sure.
So it's
But they're ready, but they're there, and you're still doing it. You're still putting one foot in front of the other. So give
and that's
yourself lots of credit for that.
yeah, and that's the
Mhm.
thing. Like with online stuff, it could be up there for a year and people will still find it. So I'm not worried
Yeah.
about it has to get out there now. Like that's not me.
Yeah. Yeah, you were the one who taught me that about, moving forward with this even in 2020, 2021, the time capsule thing. Because I'm like, I want to put out stuff that I don't mind my kids seeing later. And
Right.
even people are like, why did you do all the paranormal and, that kind of stuff, Bigfoot? I go, because I love it.
Yeah.
And if it brings me joy, why not?
And that was
And my
like our
kids,
first that
yeah.
was our first show where we were just talking about aliens and Bigfoot and all that shit. That was
Yes,
the show.
yes. Well, God, I'll never forget the text because I think you saw me on Aaron Moriarty's, who popped
Hmm.
in here earlier on Truth Quest, and you just text me. You're like, Heidi, I think there's more that we have in common than you realize, or something like
Yeah.
that. And I was just like, A, you saw that. Wow, thank you. And B, oh my God, we haven't talked woo yet. So we got to get
Right.
in all the woo stuff, which is always fabulous. And
Hmm.
that's why my folks, my friends too, hello, shout out again to the community chat. I'm on this roll because, this is the time that I do have. We've been doing a lot of family events
Hmm.
and, I prioritize that stuff. So when I had this blocked out, I'm like, I'm just going to go boom, boom, boom. Sure, it's a lot of paranormal. And then we have this human experience. It's this
Right.
experience. And same with Friday. It's just a friend who's passionately living and made this passion project. I think it's just as important to talk about all those things. Plus,
Yeah.
you can find more folks such as yourself who are in charge of these big projects who love the woo. So, and can you throw any woo? Have you seen anything fun in Chicago? Any off topic a little bit? Any kind of woo
Um,
going on, especially when you're up late at night? Anything crazy in the
no.
skies or?
So for me, one of the things that I talked about in one of the shows was like taking a moment. Again, this is like the first sphere, you taking a moment on the spiritual project to just be with nature or God or whatever you want to call it. And one of the suggestions that I made is like instead of looking out in the sky and seeing the moon and being like, "Oh, there's the moon," like just sit with that for a moment. And like I work overnights, so I'm getting out at 6 o'clock in the morning when it was a few months back when it was a little bit colder and we weren't seeing that much light out during the day or at that time of the day. It's still like pitch black outside, and I'd be outside and well, from my vantage point looking at the sky, you could see Venus, and it's
Mm,
so freaking bright at that time of the day.
mm,
And so when I leave work with all the frustrations and all the bullshit that happens at work often, I'm walking to my car and on the days that the moon is out, I'm like, wow. The days that I can see Venus, it's like, wow. Or the few days where there's like multiple planets and I know which planets they are because you can, tell by the colors and the size of the light. Those are like the moments for me where I'm like, wow, And for a lot of people, just that is woo, which is weird.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. I
bro,
get it.
bro, you
Yeah.
live in this world, like that's your sky, man. Appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
But there's many people are so wrapped up into like the technology and the everyday and like the struggle and the difficulty of trying to live life in the
Yeah.
world that we're living in now, that they, again, that's my personal observation, that we get pulled away from all the stuff that gives us energy. And so
Yes. Yeah.
the weird thing is, like, for you and I, because we like these topics, like Bigfoot is the woo, but for a lot of people, woo is just like appreciating the moon and the stars. It's weird. Like, they're like,
I
why
like it.
are you looking at the sky like that? It's just the moon. What's there to look at? I'm like, are you kidding me? This is like, or
Do you know
yeah,
what goes on there?
yeah. I can't
Hi,
remember.
Polly.
I can't remember the specific thing this woman wrote. So, like, again, single dad. I'm on the dating
Mhm.
apps. And on one of the apps, the little prompt says, like, my simple pleasures, or my simple pleasure, or whatever. And most women will put on like coffee, wine, like things like that. And so I'm scrolling through the app one day and I see this one profile, and what she wrote, for the life of me, I can't remember what she wrote right now, but her simple pleasure, I was just reading, and it was something like the first bite of, yeah, that's what it was. The first bite of a pizza slice was her simple pleasure. And I was like, wow.
Specific and cool. Takes you to that moment.
It takes you to that
Yeah.
moment, like, okay,
Yeah.
just
Specific.
for an experiment's sake, take that line, the first bite of a pizza slice. If you enjoy pizza, imagine like the best tasting pizza you've ever had and biting it for the first time. It's like, that's what that moment was that she wrote, and I connected with that. So, like I said, I'm having like a deep conversation about this stupid little line that some woman wrote on a dating app, but that's woo to me. And or it's woo to people, but like, I find appreciation and stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's why I love you, Rick. Oh, Henry. I love you. That's why I love you, Henry. I think
Both names.
Rick Henry. Isn't that a
Yeah.
singer? I think his name is a singer. Wow. Well, I love that. Well, but I have to wind down a little bit here.
Hmm.
I want so the hashtag up there, like we said, that goes for everywhere. That's his on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. And again, my buddy here is launching. He launched in May this amazing project, and it's building community, and it's solution based, which I think is amazing. And the way it came together is based on your human experience. So,
Yeah.
shout out to you, Mr. Henry. Thank you for reminding that, pulling your straps up, getting one foot in front of the other, and really just powering through is possible in our 3D, because we love to live up in the upper D's, but we do have a 3D we have to navigate. And you are
Hmm.
an example for your daughter. And so, I hope one day when she goes over these videos, because I know she's going to peek, she's going to Google your name. I know she's going to be proud. So, it's been, it's an honor to call you my pal. So thank
An
you, and to
honor
be a
for,
guest on your show.
and I want to have you back one day soon, because we had a
Cool.
really good conversation. I mean, we always
Oh
do.
my gosh, that was intense. That was I should have paid you for that episode. That was therapy. Supposed to be like a 30 minutes. I went an hour and a half, people, and I was crying in it. So if you didn't
Yeah.
see that episode, oh, Polly, single mom here. And she has been, Miss Polly, can I give this shout out for you? She is live streaming herself when the sirens go off in Israel. Like, she and her son have to, get themselves in a safe place. And she's really boots on the ground in Israel. It's pretty intense. So, Polly, thank you for sharing your authentic self. Maybe you guys would like to connect sometime. She's got some stories to share.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
And I know you were just tuning in, Polly, so you might want to check out his channels. Hi, Talca Detector. Hello from Brazil, from Chile. So we got Chile and Australia and all you peeps here. Thank you for this.
You're worldwide.
I'm global, man.
All right.
Honestly, it's the community build. That's why I love this thing, the social
Mhm.
media, and why I like doing this. And it brought my film thing back, right? You know, in front of the camera, but
Right.
also navigating all the fun things, the songs, the sounds, you know, just the vibes and bringing people together. And honestly, the mods, hi, Jane and Carol, I know you're there. They brought a lot of this community to me. They opened their arms and are like, we're going to scoop up your high vibes, Heidi, and we got to share you with some friends. And they've been
Nice.
really, really wonderful supporters. So with that being said, I have to tell you, tomorrow, 11 a.m., I'm going to be live, episode 47 of the High Vibe Human Experience Hangout with Andy Decodes. He's in UK and he's of Alienate UK. So you might dig that. So check that out, Rick. I'm going to do that every time. Rick Henry. I'm really excited for that episode. So yeah, thanks for that. And you not sure yet when you're going to do, oh, wait, maybe. Can you read that, Rick?
I gotta get my old
Oh,
man
your glasses.
Chile.
Saludos, Korea. I wish I could say it beautifully.
all your
Sorry, my
friends.
love. I love it. Yes, she's from Chile there. Don't forget to hit that like. Well, wait. Single Dad Project. We got to put that back on. But I was just about to ask you something and I forgot. You don't know yet when you're going to upload it yet. You have 2 interviews in the can. So I just think folks need to hit that like and subscribe and be on your page to get the next announcement of your next drop. But you can catch your TikToks, or you have a ton of those of people to check
Like we
out
were
and get
talking
to know
about
you some
earlier,
more.
I just cut the long interviews down to like the short stuff and put it on TikTok. Yeah.
Awesome. And Telco Detector, yes, doing very well. Bien. Awesome. Well, perfect timing. Battery saver just came on. Like I said, the streaming, I learned my lesson and I'm going to have a new cord. So Rick, thanks for navigating not sure if you got any glitching on your end. And yeah, I really suck at winding these down because I milk it. So again, thank you for being here. Stay on for one more second and I'll say goodbye. And folks, please let's help support my buddy here at Single Dad Project. I'll smell you later and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye, everybody, or afternoon brunch. Oh, here's Jane for the win. Let me throw this up there. Thanks, guys.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you again, Henry.